Standing Order 33. It is limited to 5 minutes, but allow me to use my discretion to give 5 more minutes to Honorable Junet and 10 minutes to the majority leader.
Madam Speaker, thank you.
But the rest of you, 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you very much for your indulgence. Madam Speaker, what was the situation when G2G was brought to this country? There was no fuel in this country. Prices were high, Madam Speaker. The dollar was at 160 something, Madam Speaker. There are 180 oil marketing companies in this country. All those 100 and something oil marketing companies were buying dollars at the same time to buy fuel, Madam Speaker, fuel supplies. What was happening? There was scramble for dollar in this country. And now the dollar strengthened and the Kenyan shilling was losing. Madam Speaker, let us appreciate the gains we have made from G2D, Madam Speaker. You can call it G2C, G2D, G2Y, whatever you want. The fact of the matter, I am not here to defend Gulf Oil Company, Madam Speaker, but when you go do research on Gulf Oil Company, Madam Speaker, the fact remains that Gulf Oil Company has been in the oil business for the last 20 years, Madam Speaker. It was not registered because of the G2G. Gulf Oil Company was operating as an oil company in this country in 2009, 2008, 2009, 10. They were the ones even who were winning the OTC even that time. The open tender system, the people who, one of the companies that used to win and supply for the whole country was Gulf Oil Company. All that is in record, Madam Speaker. We cannot deny facts, Madam Speaker. You may have problem with the owner, you may want to extort something from him, you want money from him. That is a different matter, Madam Speaker. But the fact that will remain is that Gulf Oil Company has been an oil marketer in this country for the last 20 years. It has been there during Kibaki's time, it has been there during Uhuru's time, and it will be there during Ruto's time, and it will be there when I become president, God willing, which I'm foreseeing in the near future. Madam Speaker, I want to say this. Let us not politicize things just because we want to incite Kenyans. It is true Kenyans are suffering. I acknowledge that we have to do something to alleviate that suffering from Kenyans. But let's do it in a honest manner. Let's not do it in a way that you think you can score politically. You want to portray the broad-based government in the black because you think you can win an election. This could be a temporary issue. I don't know what you're going to say in 2 months' time when this war ends and prices come down. If you are telling me it is because of the premium, the way some prophets here are talking about it, why was it cheaper than before the war? It is what the majority leader is saying. What has gone up is freight, Madam Speaker. That is what is making the oil expensive today, because insurances, freight have gone up because of the war. Somebody is telling me that the oil of Kenya does not pass through the port of the Strait of Hormuz. When have you become an escort of a ship coming to Kenya? That you know now it doesn't pass Hormuz, it passes Hormuz, it passes I don't know which country. My friends, the fact of the matter is we are not an oil producing company. Neither even do we have a refinery like Nigeria. We buy from international market. And even today, you know, people who don't watch international news also, who don't watch what is happening globally, have a problem. Even there is a problem of fuel in the United States of America that is producing fuel. Let us not lie to Kenyans. Let us not incite them. Let us come with a solution that can help them. Madam Speaker, one of the solutions I want to propose, I don't want to be, general like my colleagues. This transport industry that has been affected heavily by the fuel prices, Madam Speaker, majority of them have loans that they pay. They have borrowed from banks. Just like the COVID time, we need to speak to the financial companies, the banks, to freeze their interest for the time being, to freeze their loans so that there's nothing to rely. I'm not a conman like you, Bana. You are, Bana, keep quiet, Bana. I don't want to engage you.
Honorable Junet, focus.
Madam Speaker, it is high time we allow the matatus. And I have come to realize Kenyans need to diversify even in these matatu things. Because there are people who have used it politically of late, I can see. We allow the matatu industry to be, the financial companies, the banks, to allow the matatu industries to give them moratorium in terms of payments of their interest and loans. Madam Speaker, if we are truly leaders, as we call ourselves, Let us not come here to posture politically. Let us give solutions that can advance the country, that can make our country better, that can make our country look good. Madam Speaker, it's not, I don't benefit in any way by paying higher prices for fuel. It doesn't pay, it doesn't, I'm actually in the transport.
You've made your point, Majority Leader.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, allow me to support this motion. And Honorable Speaker, as I begin, as I said earlier, this is a time that calls for leadership. The easiest thing for us to do as politicians is political posturing, saying and speaking to the gallery, saying all manner of pleasantries that we think will excite our supporters, and that which sounds good to the people, but may not be true. And I say that, Honorable Speaker, because when we make proposals here, as members of parliament, we must not make proposals that simply speaks to the gallery. And that is what I see with some of our colleagues, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, this is the house that is charged with the responsibility of making budgets. And we all know, including those of us like myself, who have had the privilege to serve as chairman of the Budget and Appropriations Committee, and I speak this from a point of authority, Speaker, because I served for 2 years, almost 2 years, before I was fired, as the chair of the Budget and Appropriations Committee. Honorable Speaker, you remember then the Honorable Junaid saying that even as we fire Honorable Ichungwa, he was the best chair of the Budget and Appropriations Committee. And my record still speaks for itself, Honorable Speaker. And never a time when I served as chair of the Budget and Appropriations Committee, after I was removed, unfairly so, Honorable Speaker, there is not a single moment I stood on the floor of this House to speak against matters that I had prosecuted as a chair of the Budget and Appropriations Committee. Never. And I will never do that, because I make conscious decisions as a leader. I don't make decisions to excite and please people out there to praise you as the greatest of all times. You may think you are the greatest of all times as you move around with lecture notes, only to come and realize it ends up in premium tiers when the people discover you are lying to them. Because when you tell us that we can reduce VAT, we can do away with VAT, you know, as a member of this House, that whatever you give, something else must give in. It will translate either to reduced capitation for our secondary school and primary school students. It will translate to either lower funding for university students. It will translate to lower budgetary allocations for our healthcare workers and our healthcare system. It will translate to a slowdown of our economy, Honorable Speaker. Therefore, even as we make proposals, Honorable Speaker, I want to identify myself with some of the proposals that have been made by the Honorable Junaid, that it is possible, and I liked what the governor for Nairobi said in the press conference last week, that it is possible to plead, because these are not normal times. During the COVID pandemic, our financial services sector came up and rose to the occasion and extended moratoriums on loans to people who are affected by the COVID pandemic. This is such a time. There is no other sector in this country that is making more money in terms of profits than the financial services sector, and I'm speaking to banks and the bank owners. If you are able to extend moratoriums on interest and penalties for late payment of loans to those in the hospitality sector who are confronted with the pandemic in 2019, 2020, it is possible today for our banking sector to extend the same moratorium to our transport sector players. And I'm not talking about matatus alone and buses. I'm talking about truck owners and truck drivers who transport goods, including the food we eat in Nairobi and other urban areas from our rural areas. They need a reprieve. Many of these people, we must empathize with them because they have taken up loans to buy the assets that they are using, and we must ask and urge the financial services sector, our banks, to extend a moratorium on interest like they did during the COVID pandemic, because this is wartime. And wartime economies cannot operate the same way as peacetime economies operate. I've had a member here pretend, oh, global oil prices per barrel were lower in 2022 than they are today. True. But be honest as a leader. Tell the people that what you tell them, that Saudi oil never goes through the Strait of Hormuz, is a plain lie. In Saudi, to the east, take their oil, most of them, almost 80 to 90% of the oil fields in Saudi take their crude oil through the Strait of Hormuz. Number two, be honest. Tell the Kenyan people it is true, cost per barrel in 2022 was lower, but what is affecting us as a country is that we do not have an oil refinery. We killed Changamwe Oil Refinery in the earlier years, before this administration, in the Kibaki days. But today, Honorable Speaker, we import not crude oil. So if crude oil per barrel is cheaper, ask yourself, where do you refine your oil? If you are refining your oil, for instance, in Bahrain, the oil refinery in Bahrain was bombed. What does that do to the cost of the refined fuel that we import, because we import refined fuel into this country? Therefore, Honorable Speaker, what should this motion be doing? This motion is not an opportunity for people to come and posture here, wannabe opposition leaders, like those who are attempting to interrupt me now. Honorable Speaker, they have not the merit to listen to the truth, because the truth stands firm. Honorable Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Honorable Speaker, there is nothing that I've said that is out of order.